welcome back to the We Missed the Exit show. We're doing the Austrian Grand Prix review just in time to get into race week here. The Austrian Grand Prix was last Sunday, the 10th of July at the Red Bull Ring, and it was a great race. So if you didn't know already, Leclerc wins the race, followed by Verstappen in second and Hamilton in third. That's your podium. Leclerc, Verstappen, then Hamilton. Great race from all three. Number 4 was Russell. 5 is Ocon. 6 is Schumacher, his highest place ever. Then we have Norris 7th, Magnussen 8th, Ricardo 9th, and Alonso 10th. So, started off a great race, great start by both Verstappen and Leclerc, but you could tell right away that it was not going to be the same as it was during the sprint qualifying race. Leclerc had pace today and for the race, and he used that to his best ability, and he was right with Verstappen right for the first 12 laps, and then made a brilliant move on the inside. Very, as you would say, sensible driving from both racers, and they were together the pretty much the entire race, going back and forth as pit stops changed. Lots of track limit warnings. We saw a lot and know how it affected qualifying with Perez and a few other drivers, and boy, did it come into play during the race. Track limit warnings for just about everyone. Penalties dished out. A lot going on with, a lot going on with penalties. And um, obviously, this is something to do with just this particular track. Not a lot of turns. Just seems like a lot of it was around turn 10. But obviously, they need to do something about the giving out the rules and making sure all the drivers understand what's going on. Obviously, the professionals they know, but having a little bit more information and keeping them on track would be key, especially to try to avoid penalties. And they were consistent and fair. Everyone was getting penalties. No one was getting singled out. So you couldn't even say they were favoring anyone. Everyone was getting track limit penalties and warnings. So uh, again, quite fair. So during the race, you see Schumacher got sixth. The Haas seems to have found pace. Got sixth and eighth, sandwiching McLaren and then Norris in the McLaren, and then Ricardo right behind Magnussen. Schumacher looked great, had a great race. A couple complaints from Norris about swerving, but I honestly think that it was just a great race from Schumacher. Great to see him got on the points. He got that taste in the last race, and it was great to see him continue that and place sixth. And we'll see when we get the standings how that plays out. But I think a great race from Schumacher. Um, on lap 25, going back to the start. So not to jump around a whole lot, but Mr. Consistency strikes again, pulling out the old Mercedes move of running people off the track and crashing and causing a lot of damage. Um, Mr. Consistency, of course, Russell, caused a crash between with signs and ran signs off the road, caused damage with Perez, essentially sending Perez to the back of the pack where he would never recover. Had to retire. Perez had to retire in lap. Let's see here. Lap. Well, it doesn't matter. Perez ended up having to retire due to damage. Uh, Russell was given a 5-second penalty, but I personally feel like it wasn't enough. And if you look at the points and everything that the drivers have, um, I think it was ridiculous. Perez just never had a chance to recover from that. The best that he did, he was passing a little bit, but just too much damage to actually um, to actually win the race. Kind of feels like Mercedes may be giving a little bit of money out to make sure they don't get too many penalties, but who knows? I said it before and say it again. Russell's a good driver, but uh, for him, it's definitely the car. It's not him. Yeah, Hamilton. Say what you want about his driving ability. He is one of the greatest of all time, and having the best car just secures it. No questions. Russell's not going to have that pleasure. He's going to need the car to pull him around. Yeah, I have it right here. Checo retired lap 26. Um, Lap 26, also Leclerc pulls in the pits. Um, and Verstappen kept going. Sainz pit the lap after, lap 27. Max was on fresher tires than them at that time because he had already pit. Um, Tough to tell. Still early in the race. Maybe Max should have pit. I know it would have put him behind, but he still would have had fresh tires. It's tough to tell with pace. Um, but again, Leclerc retakes the lead in lap 33. Leclerc just had pace today. So did Sainz until lap 57 when Sainz' engine blows up. Now I'm talking about the smoke, I'm not talking about fire. His engine was literally blowing up. You could see the side pods shooting out. Um, Real scary. He had to get out real quick because his car, he did pull off the track, but his car kept rolling backwards even as he was trying to get out. The marshal had to put something behind it. Didn't even work. But Signs, uh, real big fire, lots of flames shooting up behind him. Glad he was okay. Feel horrible for him and for me because if he had stayed in, I was looking for an easy 1-2-3 for my fantasy F1. Um, but yeah, it just didn't happen, unfortunately, for me. And it would have been great. Definitely would have won the week, so that would have helped. Let's see here. Um, Yeah, if it wasn't for that engine blowout, Sainz definitely would have gotten around Verstappen. And it would have been a Ferrari 1-2. Would have loved to have seen that. It's been a long time. Um, and then towards the end of the race, around lap 65, uh, actually right around he started noticing, well, Leclerc started noticing right around the time Sainz got out that he's having issues with his throttle. Got nervous around lap 65, and you could tell that Verstappen needed that. He started getting pace, but Leclerc was way too far ahead, way too fast this race. Leclerc's lead over Verstappen was like Verstappen's lead over the Ferraris the day before. Great race from Leclerc, and that is the race. And here well, I got these out of order. So my driver of the day is the race winner, and that would be Charles Leclerc. Also, great races from Schumacher and from Alonso. They both had amazing races. Schumacher, again, getting sixth place is best all time, and Alonso also had a great race, holding people off, getting around. He picked up a couple points here, 10th, well, not a couple points, 1 point, but he had a great race. That Alpine does seem to have some pace. Ocon got fifth. I feel like Alonso's issues were definitely had to do with starting in last place. Definitely played a factor in him not being too much into the race here. Well, second to last place, but Bottas was in last, which I think also played in him not getting any points. Um, but Alonso, the Alpine, it's great to see if you look at the top, top five drivers. You got three different teams in there. Um, sorry, four different engines. I think that's great to see. I love the competitiveness. Alpines definitely seem fast, but they definitely are having trouble in certain parts of the track. Seems like they're having trouble getting out of the corners, but we'll see what happens. As people say, Alonso, may have lost it. last year. All right, we're back. And, whoops, wrong button. All right. So, my predictions first, what really happened, I had Verstappen winning the race, based on how he did the day before. I felt pretty confident about that, but boy, was I wrong. Um, Leclerc found the pace today, and boy, did he ever. So, Max, he's still in the top 10. Leclerc's still top 10. Perez and Sainz, I got wrong. That wasn't my fault. One was Russell's fault, and the other one was Ferrari's fault. Hamilton, I had fifth. He was in the top 10, obviously getting third. Ocon, I had getting sixth. He was top 10. He got fifth. Norris, I had in the top 10. I got that one correct. Magnussen, I had top 10. Also, eighth, also correct. Ricardo, ninth, also correct. So pretty good for me right there. And then Schumacher, I had 10th. He ended up in sixth, so top 10. So I think I did great. Obviously, a couple changes here. With Perez and Sainz that would have changed my picks a little bit, but again, felt good about my picks. So after the Austrian Grand Prix, Max Verstappen remains in first with 208. Leclerc is in second with 170. Sainz remains in third. Max Verstappen is in first with 208. 208. Leclerc goes over Perez to take second place in the Drivers' Championship with 170. Perez goes down to third with 151. Sainz remains in fourth with 133. Russell remains in fifth with 128. Hamilton remains in sixth with 109. Norris remains in seventh with 64. Ocon moves up into sixth. Ocon moves up into eighth with 52. Bottas moves down to ninth with 46. Um, sorry. Fernando Alonso stays at 10th with 29. Magnussen stays at 11th with 22. Ricardo moves up into 12th with 17. Gasly moves down to 13th with 16. Vettel remains in 14th with 15 points. Schumacher moves up to 15th with 12 points. Great for him. Um, two races with points, and he's already up into 15th. Sonoda, Schumacher passed Sonoda and Joe. Again, Sonoda's dropping down to 16th with 11. Joe dropping down to 17th with 5. And Albon stays in 18th with 3. Stroll remains in 19th with 3. And Latifi remains pointless. Wonder how long that'll stay. Who knows? Could be the rest of the season. In the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull stays in first with 359, Ferrari in second with 303. Only a couple races could make a huge change in that. Same with third, Mercedes with 237. They're still in this very much. McLaren has 81. They are now tied with Alpine with 81. Again, great to see Alpine. You almost have four different engines in the top four. You have four different engines in the top five. I think that shows great competition. It's very exciting for racing. Alfa Romeo is in sixth with 51. Haas moves up to seventh, passing AlphaTauri. Haas has 34 points. AlphaTauri moves down to eighth with 27. Aston Martin is in ninth with 18. And Williams has 3 points, all from Albon in 10th place. Again, it is race week. Our next race is the French Grand Prix. I heard that pronounced 1,000 times. I can't pronounce the circuit name, but it is going to be July 24th. Look for our preview hopefully that Saturday night before the race. And again, thank you for watching the We Missed the Exit show. Let us know what you thought about the Austrian Grand Prix below, and we will see you again soon. Have a great day.